Bob Dylan said, behind every beautiful thing, there's some kind of pain. In my case, I'm taking that very literally. My body has provided the pain, and I'm making something beautiful. In 2014, I woke up to pain in several of my lower left teeth. By noon that day, all my teeth hurt, my inner ear had joined the party, my cheekbone felt like it was being crushed, and the bridge of my nose felt broken. By that evening, I was experiencing some of the worst pain known to humankind in a quarter of my head. And it didn't stop. Nothing can make it stop. I saw doctors, I went to the ER, I took every kind of pain pill I could get my hands on. Ice packs, hot pads, mouth guards, diet changes, oils, massage, chiropractic adjustment. Nothing put a dent in the agony, and no one could tell me what it was. Eventually I found my way to the right doctor, and she informed me that it might be something called trigeminal neuralgia. In my case, atypical trigeminal neuralgia. My symptoms are not the same as typical TN. Trigeminal neuralgia usually means shock-like attacks of pain, but ATN is constant aching, crushing, and or burning pain. Having the less common form of an uncommon disease very likely contributed to my struggles in finding a diagnosis. Long story told short, my face nerves are malfunctioning, resulting in pain. The medical community doesn't have a strong consensus on what causes atypical trigeminal neuralgia. It could be genetic. It could be from an injury. My nerves showed no signs of damage on several MRIs, and no event happened near the time my pain started, so it remains a mystery. There's no cure for any kind of trigeminal neuralgia. I'm ineligible for surgical treatments, and the medications that do bring the pain to a lower level have such nasty side effects that they can be just as debilitating as the pain. It has been 4 years since I had a pain-free day, and I've had many lows and many highs along the way. While I'm not in as bad a pain as I was before I got treatment, it still hurts. I decided to start painting my pain about a year into it. I'd given up my beloved job, much of my independence, and moved away from friends because of this pain. The depression and anxiety were very strong. I needed to change my attitude about life and pain if I was ever going to get back to being a semi-functional human being. So I decided to turn to art, in addition to cognitive therapy and continued search for further pain relief. I went to the grocery store and bought one of those cheap, flimsy, gooey face paints, the kind that pop up everywhere a few months before Halloween. I went home and painted a swirling space scene on my cheek. I matched the shape to my pain. I put on makeup for the first time in forever and stared at myself in the mirror for probably 20 minutes straight. Just seeing my pain as the beautiful blue-black galaxy filled me with a variety of feelings. On one side, I was lamenting at how woefully unable I had been to truly express my three-dimensional pain through a 2D painting on the surface. But I was also marveling at how much I was freed in that moment from the sadness, hate, and anger that usually hit me when I looked at my face. When I see my face, it looks healthy. It looks normal. It might even look pretty. But it feels like broken bones and bruised, swollen skin. It feels like rotten teeth and blistered tongue. It feels so sensitive that walking past a fan feels like a slap to the face. Breathing can make my nasal passage ache or brain freeze my teeth. Deep earaches make me want to scream and tear at my head. Phantom nails pound into the bones of my chin and behind my eyebrow. And none of it is really there. Ghost damage that lives only in the electrical pulses to my brain. But this face is not healthy, and it should not look so normal. But maybe it can be okay for it to look pretty. With my paint mask on, I can feel pride in my artistic skills. I can explore creativity. I can trace the curves and edges of my pain with my eyes. I know what burns behind each shape and what aches under each color. I can work through my feelings, taking back a tiny bit of control. When I'm at my limit, my war paint gives me the rush to push back for another day. No one saw that first painting in person. I took photos and I shared them online later, but I washed it away before another human experienced it. That moment was just for me. My next paintings I showed them first to my family as I tried to help around the house. I began wearing them to game nights with friends, to run errands, and to church. I explained to anyone who asked about the pain under the paint, and most reactions were very positive and supportive. People started treating me differently, but not in a bad way. You see, most of these people had already heard me talk about my pain. I didn't keep it secret, but I also didn't want to be a downer, complaining all the time. I don't think people, even the ones I saw regularly, could really wrap their heads around the idea of my pain, or remember that it was always there. Now they could see it. This visual cue written across my face reminded them to be patient with me in conversations I couldn't follow because pain was eating 80% of my focus. It reminded them to accept when I said I still needed someone else to drive me home because I couldn't think or see well enough to drive safely. It stopped them from getting angry or hurt when I canceled plans or declined invitations because I hadn't slept the night before. It made my pain real to them, and so they acted with consideration of my struggles. Being treated like a person deserving of consideration actually helped me learn to be more considerate of myself. Being kind to myself has never been something I'm good at, and now I was in need of far greater patience and kindness than ever before. I still get angry for not being able to do anything and everything I want to do, but I'm far more patient and less critical of myself when my health gets in my way. I wanted to share my paintings with more than just the people I saw in person, and I wanted to reach out to others who found themselves suffering invisibly. I started sharing my photos and recording my journey online. I called it Masking the Pain. The internet can be a wonderful way to find people like you. Now I get to chat with people from all over the planet, young and old, about a shared experience that had felt so incredibly isolating. I really started to enjoy every aspect of my face paintings, except obviously the paint itself. I will never enjoy that. I do enjoy the artistic challenge, the understanding it's fostered, and the opportunity to educate about my fairly rare disease, and the quasi-social experiment I began with strangers. If you've never walked around in public with something odd about you, plainly visible, you really should. The reactions of various people are great. Most people stare, some realize they're staring and try pointedly not to. Some start whispering to buddies while pointing you out, and a surprisingly few number will actually ask you about it. I need to start a tally of how many people do what so I can give you the numbers. I stood across from store cashiers for a solid 5 minutes with them blatantly jaw-dropped staring at me while I try to make friendly conversation, and they very pointedly don't mention the brightly colored pattern across my face. The best reaction though is kids. I love kids who aren't afraid to ask questions. They just spit it out, first thing when they see me. Why is that on your face? Why is your face painted? No fear, and rarely judgment. Usually just pure curiosity. One of my many cousins' son was about 3 years old and saw me with the mermaid scales painted across my face in turquoise and blue. I did my best to explain to him that I have a pain, aka owie, in my face that you can't see. So I put fun colors on it and let other people know it's there. He asked if he could kiss it to make it better, and of course I said yes. How could you turn down a sweet offer like that? After his quick and slightly slobbery peck on my cheek, he proudly asked, "All better?" I told him, "Well, it still hurts, but you made me happy." And his eyebrows came together in a confused frown. He followed me around looking puzzled for several minutes, trying to wrap his tiny head around an owie that wasn't cured by a kiss. Then he got distracted playing. So far, that's still my favorite reaction to one of my face paintings. As long as my paintings make me happy and help me spread awareness for invisible illnesses like mine, I'll continue to do them.